Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kenyo Kazi, and welcome to Boosting Investment Opportunities for MSMEs, hosted by the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean's Business Development and Consulting Institute in collaboration with First Global Bank Limited. So, one of the biggest challenges facing entrepreneurs is accessing financing and investment support for their businesses. So just yesterday, I was in a room with some of the major players in entrepreneurship ecosystem, discussing some barriers and solutions. So what is really stopping you from getting that loan or investment? That's one of the questions that was being asked, right? Well, it's bad record keeping and no financial statements, absence of software to manage these finances, no business plan to show what you're doing in the next years, in the next 5 years, no collateral, no corporate governance, no certification in your field, and what is all of this telling your loans officer or investor? It's telling them that you are not ready to manage the funds if you receive it, right? So today we will have Dr. Jamie Lee Williams and Richard Clarke discuss how you can increase your chances of gaining investment. So our first speaker is Dr. Jamie Lee Williams. She is an accomplished professional currently serving as an assistant professor at the University of the Commonwealth with over 10 years of experience in leadership roles. She has excelled as country manager at Trade and Partners, professor at Clarke University, director at ProEdge HR Consultants, and as a banker at the Bank of Nova Scotia, Jamaica. So Dr. Williams holds a doctorate in business management, a master's degree in human resource management, and a bachelor's degree in the same field. She's also certified in agile project management, executive coaching, performance management, and strategic management. Her philosophy in life is rooted in the belief that productivity comes through effective planning. So please join me in welcoming our first presenter today, Dr. Jamie Lee Williams.
Welcome, entrepreneurs. I hope you all are doing well today. We're excited to have you here today in our joint session with the First Global Bank. Today, our discussion will go into the financial statements. We will discuss the importance of your financial statements. How can you better understand these statements when they are prepared by institutions like the UCC BDCI? And ensuring that you get a basic understanding after the preparation to ensure that the First Global Bank can assist you in terms of your funding for expansions and other ideas that may come up in terms of loans and so on. So let us get into details. The questions may come after the second presentation, and we will go through in details for you. And you may also send us an email, and you'll have our email addresses in the chat and so on. We will definitely support you in all aspects of your business. So let us get into things. I will share my screen with you now. And we may ask the question firstly, why are financial statements important? Why do they really matter? What is it so much that someone will say that it is tedious to understand, it's tedious to prepare? Of course, the experts will prepare them for you, and that is why we are here. But of course, you need to get a basic understanding of these. Now, firstly, tracking your financial performance. That is important, of course. Your business was set up to make a profit, of course, and you need to know if it is actually doing what you intended. Also, making informed business decisions. Now, the decision that you may have made initially, you may have to change in terms of after reevaluating, reassessing, then you realize that based on your feedback and what you're seeing in terms of your financial statement, you will have to make some changes. Securing funding and investment. And this is why the First Global Bank is here to assist you in terms of the funding and investment, because to be able to diversify and based on our environment know that is so dynamic, things are changing as we go. You want to ensure that you are able to get the funding and investments to grow, right? Managing your cash flow and risk. In a lot of organizations, you have several persons who are employed to the organization, several things that are happening in terms of operations and so on. And you need to know what is going on with your cash flow. Complying with the regulations, you all note in terms of or TAJ, you need to be filing your taxes. And of course, the assistant comes from the UCC BDCI. Your income statement, that is the first thing that we would be getting into today. Your income statement is something that most persons want to get to understand because, of course, your profit or your loss is evident in this financial statement. Now, this summarizes your revenues, your cost, and your expenses, of course, over a specific period of time. For most persons, it is done annually, and it reveals the business's profitability. So if you are making a net profit, of course, you will find out if this happened or not. Now, let us look at the purposes. What is the purpose of your income statement? One is to measure the company's financial performance over a given period. It helps, of course, in determining profitability by showing whether you made a profit or a loss. And in terms of some insight into your revenue growth or the lack thereof. Because if it is that within your industry, you're looking at revenue that should be along the range of, let's say, for example, it should be 1 million to 5 million. If you're noting an increase of, let's say, 2 or 3% versus within the industry, they're looking at, let's say, 10%, you'll know that there are changes that you need to make. Cost control. This is always something that is important, working with several parties. And of course, there are some things that you may not be able to control in terms of the foreign exchange, the cost of oil, the cost of your raw material. These things will definitely affect your income at the end of the day, your operational efficiency. And these things we normally have to keep tabs on a regular basis, because at times people become laid back and get a little disoriented, forgets where they are and where they're going in terms of the organization's growth, the strategy, your vision and mission. These things sometimes can be misunderstood by parties, especially if they are not trained properly. Useful for your stakeholders like your investors and your creditors. In most businesses, you will have some level of investment taking place. There is the need for investment. You won't always be able to provide the funding on your own. And in terms of goods and services, you may need to get some credit from your suppliers, whether new or your existing relationships. And your income statement is what will be reviewed in the decision-making process here. The balance sheet components, the balance sheet, and you would note that for in several instances, so whether you're doing investments on the personal side, you would have looked at several companies' investments. And before you invest, you would have looked at several balance sheets for several companies. You would have seen their assets, whether they looking at the non-current assets or the current assets, their liabilities, whether it be long-term or short-term, and in terms of the equity that was placed into the company. the financial position of the organization. For some entities, the balance sheet is what is said to be the most critical, the one that says, do you have assets, or is it that your liabilities far outweigh your assets? In that case, you can understand that this is going to affect your future investments and credits and so on, right? So it is important that we understand what is taking place and how do we ensure that we make the changes necessary, right? Now, the purpose, of course, is to firstly look at the financial stability of the organization and the liquidity. If it is that something should happen, are you able to still stand firmly as you are now? Like, for instance, when COVID-19 happened, there are several companies that would have folded based on the fact that they were not stable in terms of their liquidity. Now, we're also looking at the capital structure. What is your capital like currently? Now, for many companies, we're looking at the debt of each individual organizations. We're looking at the investors and your creditors, evaluating the company's leverage and their financial stability, which comes up in your balance sheet. Now, your cash flow statement. The cash flow statement, for many, they're not familiar as they would be with your balance sheet and your income statement. Of course, one aspect is your operating activity. And this looks at the cash generated from the core business operation. So let's say, for example, you are operating a juice factory then per se. You would look at all of the juices that you would have manufactured. So you're looking at all of that cash that was generated from that in particular, and not necessarily anything else. In terms of your investment activity, the cash used for or received from the investment in several assets, and you know the particular assets that you may have in your organization in terms of your non-current and your current assets, like your furniture, your building, your land, and so on. Your financing activities, cash received from or paid to the finance of businesses. So we're looking at your loans, your dividends. Now, one thing we're looking at in terms of your cash flow, again, is your liquidity and cash management. How well does the company generate the cash to meet its obligations? Because, of course, with a business, you know that one, you would have bought some items, you would, of course, sell these items to then make the profit. But there are some things that are happening within the organization that are not producing the amount of cash that you intended, and therefore the insight in relation to how you pay your debts, how you then reinvest in the business. Should you reinvest in the business based on what you are seeing here in terms of your cash flow? It then gives a clearer picture of the company's cash flows, your inflow and your outflow. Now we look at your best practices for keeping your financial statements up to date. So after being prepared properly and used, you again want to ensure that you are keeping these statements in terms of their authenticity to be able to be utilized throughout the period. So one, you are looking at a monthly or quarterly reviews on these statements, comparing, of course, to your budgets and forecasts to see if there are any differences with what you set out to do in terms of your budgets, especially to see if there's an overrun, and also to make any kinds of changes before you need to do an annual review. Accurate and timely recording. Now, throughout the year, you would have been using systems like, let's say, your accounting systems, right? Like QuickBooks, for instance, your invoices, your receipts, to ensure that all of this is recorded properly. Because from the original receipts, if the original data is incorrect, you will find that then your ledgers are going to be incorrect, your trial balance, your income statement, your balance sheet, all of this. And these things have a ripple effect then on your income, and then double checking and paying for additional support may be costly. Your regular reconciliation. Now, for your bank statements, I know for most persons, banking, the terminology, just the thought of banking can be daunting, just the idea. However, you can speak with your bankers at First Global Bank who will assist you with walking through what your financial statement is. What do these acronyms mean? Getting a basic understanding. And banking is very, very simple to understand once you get the basics of this information. Financial statement analysis. Now, the analysis is what is the critical aspect. After these statements have been prepared, you want to look at the analysis of these statements. One, we're looking at your liquidity ratio. It then measures the ability to pay off short-term debts, looking at your current ratio. So your short-term debt in terms of your loans, these short loans that you would have taken, your profitability, your gross profit margin, and this would be before your expenses, before any additional income. Your leverage ratio, evaluating the level of debt for example, the debt to equity ratio. What is that looking like in terms of your debt versus your equity? And your efficiency, how well are you turning over? How well are we looking in terms of our customers paying us back on our debtors and so on? And finally, in concluding, I know you would have gained a lot of information here today from this session, but for financial statement, these tools are vital in assessing the performance and securing funding. So it is important that you review them regularly, ensure the accuracy, ensure your systems that are in place are up to date, and your staff is properly trained to operate the system. Ensure that your source documentations are authentic. Ensure that, of course, you understand the basics of your financial statement. So your income statement to look at your profit or loss, your cash flow, the several activities in terms of your operations and your investment, your balance sheets, looking at your assets versus your liabilities and equity. Entrepreneurs need to understand your financial statements, and that helps you to be better equipped to have the success that is not short term, but long term, and you will see the results in total. Now, thank you so much for listening, and we look forward to seeing you at the UCC BDCI and investing with the First Global Bank.
Well, we can answer that question because it coincides with another question that Ms. Karine Thomas would have asked, where they ask, are there any free accounting apps or software that we can recommend for SMEs to use? Now, one app that I would recommend would be Zoho Books. That's Z as in zebra, OHO Books, right? And it works similarly to QuickBooks, where it allows you to input the different items, itemize it, right? As well as gives you the ability to interact with it to do the respective sheets, right? And once it is that you tally the different transactions, it also automates some of the calculations for you. All right, answering Carrie Wallace's question where it comes on to taking the picture, where it would use AI to automatically sort it. There might be somewhere you'll be able to take the picture and upload it, yes. However, with regards to the sorting, I would not recommend, personally, I would not recommend using AI for that purpose, right? It's better when you go over it yourself. That way you will ensure that it doesn't accidentally sort it somewhere else, right? And then you have to be looking around for that different information months to come, or you probably notice it months down the line and you wonder where you went wrong. Right. So when it comes on to the sorting, I would personally recommend doing it yourself. Right. But there are some that does allow you to upload the images of the receipts or the invoices. Yes. And then the final question would be from, I don't want to mispronounce his name, so I'll attempt and say JD and Ellis. Right, and it asks, is there a brochure with this information for a more thorough review? Could you specify which specific information you're asking about? All right, if it is that you're asking about the BDCI or any short courses on financial management, financial statements, yes, we actually have our starting a business workshop that's taking place now. At the end, we'll follow up with some information regarding that. So you can just always reach out back to us at the end. I'll just make a note that we should reach out to you, Ms. Thomas. And regarding the brochure with the information, if it is that you're asking about information for the BDCI or website. All right, so in the interest of time, we'll move on, but the website would be bdci.co.
Right, thank you, Jonathan. And so I'm going to introduce Richard Clarke now. Richard Clarke has been in the banking industry since 1995. Beginning his career at the Bank of Nova Scotia, he has held senior roles at Sagicor Bank and serves as a banking business executive at First Global Bank. With over a decade of experience in the SME sector, Richard's expertise spans a wide range of industries from small mom-and-pop shops to large-scale developments. His knowledge encompasses financing for manufacturing, distribution, hardware, supermarkets, residential and commercial developments, as well as quarrying and mining operations.
Thank you. Thank you for that kind welcome to you. And it's indeed a pleasure to be here. Thank Dr. Jamie Lee Williams for highlighting the importance of the financial statement. Good afternoon, everyone out there. Let me tell you, First Global Bank is excited to be partnering with the UCC Business Development and Consulting Institute to provide SMEs with solutions which will help you all to grow your businesses and by extension, our economy. My presentation will take the following format. I will go through the presentation first, and afterwards I will invite you to ask your questions. Here with me online, we have our entire business banking team. So if for some reason I'm unable to answer any of your questions, I'm sure I will be ably assisted. I'm just going to go ahead now and share my screen. Right. So guys, First Global Bank is...
Sorry.
Are you seeing my screen?
We can see it, but it's not on full screen.
Why is it not?
to, no, go to slideshow.
Hold on.
Go to slideshow and then from there to full screen. Don't go to share, go to slideshow. Slideshow at the top.
Hold on a second.
See home, insert, draw, design, slideshow, hit slideshow.
All right.
There we go.
Okay, thank you. All right, so First Global Bank is a full service commercial bank. And our vision is to be the leading digital bank with a first-class customer experience, with a mission to empower people to get ahead in life and in business. So with that said, let's get into what are SMEs. Now, SME stands for small and medium-sized enterprises. It refers to businesses that have limited numbers of employees and annual revenues, and are typically characterized by one, micro, which means fewer than 10 employees and an annual income of up to 15 million. Small, which is fewer than 50 employees and annual revenues greater than 15 million, but less than 75 million. And of course, medium, which is now 50 to 499 employees and an annual revenue between 75 and 425 million. SMEs are important drivers of our economic growth, innovation, and job creation. They're often agile, innovative, and able to respond quickly to the change in market conditions. Now, some common characteristics of SMEs include: one, limited resources, whether it be financially, through human capital, or technology. Two, flexibility and adaptability. Three, focus on niche markets or local customers. Four, personalized customer service. Five, independent and local suppliers partnership. Six, limited access to funding and credit, which I know a lot of persons on this platform is familiar with, and reliance on owner-manager expertise. Challenges faced by SMEs. SMEs in Jamaica face a range of challenges which hinder their growth and development. Some of the challenges faced by SMEs in Jamaica includes access to finance, the difficulty in accessing credit and funding to support business growth, limited market access, the struggle to penetrate local and international markets due to lack of marketing expertise and resources. The high energy costs, high electricity costs affecting profitability and competitiveness. Crime and security, impact of crime on businesses, including theft, robbery, and extortion. Bureaucratic red tape, challenging regulatory environment, and lengthy processes for starting and operating businesses. Skills and training, limited access to skilled labor and training opportunities. Infrastructure challenges, inadequate infrastructure, including transportation and telecommunications. Competition from large enterprises, which difficulty competing with larger companies that may have more resources and market power. Limited access to information, limited access to business information, mentorship, and support services. Regulatory compliance, challenging regulatory requirements and compliance issues. Taxation, high tax and complex tax regulations, high tax rates, that is, and complex tax regulations. Limited access to export markets. Difficulty accessing export markets due to lack of knowledge, resources, and network. Limited access to healthcare. Limited access to healthcare services for entrepreneurs and their employees. These challenges highlight the need for targeted support and intervention to address the specific needs of SMEs in Jamaica and promote their growth and development. Now, the role of banking in all of this. Banking plays a vital role in supporting SMEs by providing financial services and products tailored to their needs. Some of the key roles of banking for SMEs will include: 1, providing access to capital. Banks offers various loans options, such as term loans, lines of credit, overdraft facilities, all geared to help SMEs fund their operations, expansions, and growth. Managing cash flows. Banks help SMEs to manage their cash flows by providing services like cash management, payroll service, and account receivables payable management. Facilitating payments. Banks enable SMEs to make and receive payments efficiently through various payment systems, such as credit cards, online banking, and wire transfers. Offering risk management solutions. Banks provide SMEs with risk management products, like foreign exchange and interest rates hedging, to mitigate potential risks. Supporting business growth. Banks offer advisory service, like business planning and market research to help SMEs grow and expand their operations. Enabling digitalization. Banks provide digital banking platforms and tools to help SMEs streamline their financial management, improve efficiency, and reduce costs. And of course, building relationships. Banks build relationships with SMEs, providing personalized services and understanding their unique needs and challenges. Supporting entrepreneurship. Banks may offer programs and initiatives to support entrepreneurships like incubators, accelerators, and startup funding. By playing these roles, banking supports the growth, development, and success of SMEs, which are essential for economic growth and job creation. To assist the SMEs, we have what is called relationship banking. Now, each SME client will be assigned an executive, a business banking executive, who will act as a single point of contact and who has a deep understanding of what specific financial needs the client will have. We will tailor solutions for you. The business banker will collaborate with specialized teams across the bank to provide credit, payment, cash management, foreign exchange, and liquidity solutions. We will have regular touch points via meetings and calls to keep the client informed and priority access to the bank's services, ensuring quicker response times. We will strategize with our partnership through providing value-added services in conjunction with your long-term strategic objectives. Now, in managing the relationship, one of the first place we have to start is to have the SME setting up an account with the financial institution. Now, this is where that relationship starts. This is where the guidance starts. A common thing is that the SMEs are registered and they take months, sometimes years, to really get into the financial sector. Now, setting up an account is really easy. And it's best to do so when you have just registered your company, as the requirements at that point are really not as tedious, because as you are issued your company documents, you're automatically issued a tax compliance certificate. So for a standard account, if you're a sole trader, then you will give us a certificate of registration. If you are a limited company, we would have the certificate of incorporation, along with articles of incorporation. In some cases, the older companies will have memorandum and articles of association. A valid tax compliance certificate, ID and TRN for all the shareholders and directors. Of course, regular stuff, KYC, where you would have your proof of address. And you will come in, we will ask you, well, if their account is less than 18 months, you would need to bring a cash flow projection with you. If it is older, then this is where now you will have to do a financial statement, or you can bring your tax return. We will complete the requisite banking documents, and as simple as that, you will be on your way. To keep every small business in the fold, leave no man behind. At First Global here, we have what is called a simplified business account, where the process is less rigorous, but there are limitations to that account because we ask, it's not a fully verified account, so your monthly deposits are controlled. And so it's best really to just do the standard account, but to make things easier, the simplified account is a way to start your relationship with the bank. And then we can move and take it further, because yes, there are a lot of opportunities out there to gain credit facilities to help in your expansion or growing your business, so to speak. But this is where it starts. So for SME loans, after you have set up this account and you are now banking, we look at your history. Okay? Don't be afraid of passing these funds through your account. That's why you open it. This is what the bank, one of the things the bank is looking for. There are value-added products. For example, or point-of-sale system, a point-of-sale merchant system, where the convenience of your clients using their cards, and that helps you now to cut down on the volume of cash that you actually collect at your business place. But when it comes to the loan side, we will ask you for, of course, similar set of documents as we did to open the account: certificate of registration if you're a sole trader, certificate of incorporation if you're a limited liability company, memorandum and articles of association or articles of incorporation for the newer companies, letter of good standing, the business TRN, valid tax compliance certificate, and of course, ID TRN for all the shareholders and directors. Now, if it is that you have no collateral, this is where the bank will recommend this product, the product from the Development Bank of Jamaica, which is called the Credit Enhancement Fund. This fund was specifically designed for SMEs, to where the bank, where the bank, DBJ, would stand as guarantee on that loan for you. So learning the need of an SME, where the most common thing is that there's a lack of security. This product was specifically developed to take care of that need. Now, here are the financial documents that you will need to bring to the bank in order to access a loan. You would need financial statements, of which Dr. Jamie Lee Williams spoke of, and hence the importance of that financial statement. You will need your cash flow projection. You would need a personal financial statement, which we will assist you in completing. Of course, the invoice and statements for the purpose of the loan, we need proof of purpose. So you would need to provide all of that to us. We will have to pull your credit reports, both for the directors of the company and for the company. Factors. When assessing SME loans, banks typically consider the following factors: the credit history. A strong credit history and a good credit score can improve the chances of loan approval. We go back to the financial statement. Banks review financial statements such as the balance sheet, income statements, and cash flow statements to assess the SME's financial health and ability to repay the loan. Business plan. A well-written business plan that outlines SME's goals, target market, financial projection, and market strategy can help banks understand the business and its potential. Collateral. Banks assess the SME's cash flow. Well, banks may require collateral, such as assets, property, to secure the loan and reduce the risk of default. However, as previously alluded to, we have the Credit Enhancement Fund from DBJ, which was specifically designed to counter this problem. Cash flow. Banks assesses SME's cash flow to ensure it can generate enough cash to repay the loan. Industry and market. Banks consider the SME industry, market trend, competitive landscape, to assess its viability and potential for growth. Management team. Banks consider the SME's skill and experience and a track record of the management team to ensure that they can lead the business to success. We look at the debt to equity ratio. Banks assess the SME's debt to equity ratio to ensure it has healthy balance of debt and equity. We look at the loan purpose. Banks consider the purpose of the loan and whether it aligns with the SME's business goals and growth strategy. Risk management. Banks conduct a risk assessment to identify potential risks and determine the likelihood of default. Loan purpose, sorry. Regulatory compliance. Regulatory compliance. Bank ensures the SME complies with all relevant regulations and laws. Industrial benchmarks. Banks compare the SME's financial performance to industrial benchmark to assess its relative performance, growth and potential. Banks assess the SME's growth and potential and whether it is a clear plan for expansion. Cash reserves. Banks evaluate the SME's cash reserves and ability to weather financial storms. By carefully evaluating these factors, banks can make informed decisions about lending the SMEs and helping them to achieve their business goals. Now, we here at First Global understands what an SME needs. And so if it is that you have a business and it is, say, 12 months, over 12 months, but under 24 months, as the usual policy states that the business should be operating for at least 24 months. We have a niche product, which is called early stage financing. And it's specifically geared for businesses 12 months, between 12 and 24 months. And this will help you as an SME to, as the name suggests, get early financing to support your growth plan for your company. How do we also have our credit cards? Right? How do credit cards help you? We have our business credit cards, where it helps you to manage your cash flow, where you have flexible payment options. It's a short-term financing. Right? It also gives you reward and benefits because when you use your business credit card, you get cash back, travel insurance, purchase protection. It helps you to build a credit history. Not to mention the convenience that it offers. And it helps you to track your expenses. We also have our online banking platform, which gives you the comfort of conducting your business without leaving your office. Our global access platform is one of the best. You can do almost all your banking online. Our credit card system is very protected. We have the CVV key. Right? So we have a wide range of products. We have the necessary expertise to get that solution to you, the SME. Why bank with FGB? Because we care. We offer a wide range of financial solutions tailored to your needs. We have competitive rates. And of course, we have our online services, which takes the hassle out of banking. Now that brings me to the end of my presentation. I will now turn it over to Neil and welcome your questions.
Hey everyone, do you have any questions? And Diane, I'm allowing you to talk.
Okay, thank you, Tanil. Good afternoon, all. One of the banking solutions that I've always struggled with, I actually have a First Global account, but one of the solutions I've always struggled with is taking on a credit card. Uh, Several people have said to me, you should get a credit card. Sometimes you get these notifications, not necessarily from First Global, but other institutions saying that they're offering you a credit card. Now, I don't trust myself with that because I love shopping. I really love shopping. So I need to be able to discipline myself. However, I have seen where credit cards come in really handy, for example, in emergencies. And I'm not saying emergency where you need an outfit. Emergency, for example, if you have a medical emergency, which has happened in the past, and I've seen where, like, my father had to use his. What I would appreciate is, and I haven't seen it in any of these discussions, I would love, since I'm a client of First Global, I would love to see you have, whether it's a brochure or something added to your website that provides instruction as to how do you responsibly use a credit card. How do you go about it? Getting it is one thing, but handling it and not putting yourself down in a hole is a completely other matter. And the same thing would apply to those who wish to use it in a business setting. So by what date are you supposed to, is there a limit? I really am totally blank when it comes to credit cards and usage. Is it that you have a particular date by which you should be paying off all? If not all, there's a percentage. And what is that percentage that perhaps gives you some amount of wiggle room that the bank won't come down on you and seize everything that you own? You find yourself going to court. But I think credit card information on how to responsibly use a credit card would be something that would be welcomed by many SMEs. And if you, for example, if First Global is one of those institutions, that would probably be an added bonus for anyone who comes to you as the SME or any other client, and not necessarily to start a business, but certainly to manage the funds that they do have. Because I certainly wouldn't want to go out on the road and tell everybody that First Global took all my money.
All right, thank you for that, Dan. Thank you for that question. Now, one of the things that we do, especially on the business side, is that before we give a client that credit card, in closing, we will have that particular conversation that you're referring to, where we educate the client on how to use this card and how to use it responsibly. As for the information where your payment dates and what amount to pay, usually on the statement, you will have a minimum balance. Now, as long as you pay that minimum balance, your card is in good stead. It means your card is being operated satisfactorily. Your statement date, that can be easily obtained, whether in branch or from our credit card department, where you know when the statement is printed, and you online, on your online platform, your credit card will be there and it gives you all information as well. But I will certainly take the point of having some information online, tutorial probably online, that gives you some guidance.
That's appreciated. Thank you, Mr. Clarke.
I will make the suggestion, I should say.
Thank you.
Okay, Corinne Thomas, go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Yes, I have a question. Early in the presentation, Mr. Clarke had mentioned something about a payment facilities. As an SME, do you facilitate payments like on a website? Like, is there a portal that you can accommodate to? If a SME has a business website and they want to take payments through that website, do you offer that kind of a portal facility? And if you do, what is the service charge or fees associated with that service? And side B to the other question would be, with an SME, usually they're young businesses between 1 to 3 years. When you mention the credit facility, how outside of the DBJ facility that you mentioned, the enhancement facility, credit enhancement, how would an SME qualify having no real credit history so they can get a loan for the business?
All right, thank you for that question, Karine. So let me answer the first part, which is the online. So we have e-commerce. So our e-commerce is where you're set up on your website. Through your website, you will be able to do transactions. For example, like Amazon, when you would go on Amazon and shop. So through your website, through our e-commerce platform, your client can make their purchases using their cards, and you will be credited instantly. The money will go to your account. So yes, we offer that platform, which is called the e-commerce platform. And that is it's the same process as you would go through when applying for a point-of-sale machine. You come into the branch, we have the forms you fill out. Our IT department at some point will liaise with your internet designer or the person who created the site, because it must be compatible with the platform, and they will have their conversations and what have you and make it possible for you. The second part of it, where you're talking about the financing and not having enough history. Now, it is very important for SMEs to note that, and I think I mentioned it earlier, on registering your business, it is important for you to start an account and start passing funds through your account. It is through that medium, when you go and you get your financial statement done, it will show the turnover, it will break out everything and show the profitability of the company. It will show us everything. No. You mentioned because they're mostly 1 to 3 years. As I mentioned earlier as well, we have what is called early stage financing product, which within 12 months and between the 24 months, we can offer you some form of credit to grow your business. But you also have a responsibility to make sure that you are passing funds through your account and building that history so that we can properly assess what is happening with your business. In terms of the collateral, Development Bank of Jamaica will offer, through Development Bank of Jamaica, we will access what is called the Credit Enhancement Fund, which is used to guarantee up to 90% of the credit that you would want. I hope that answers your question, Karine, or shed some light on it.
Yes, it does. But just didn't hear the fee that was associated with the portal. Thank
Oh,
you.
so on approval, that fee now will be assigned. Usually it's somewhere between 3.5 to about 3.7 or 4%.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, can I ask my question now?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, all right. My question is in relation to where you said we should always pass cash through our business accounts, right? I opened my first global account some time ago. I'm in St. Catherine. The closest location is in Portmore, right? I don't necessarily have the time to go to Portmore or go to Spanish Town to really deposit and then transfer online, which I'd like to. Is there anything in the pipeline that will allow persons to, for instance, deposit cash to the GK1 account and then transfer to the business account for persons that have that use GK1, that is, because I do, and that would be like the best thing Grace Kennedy would be doing, or First Global would be doing, because what it would allow me to do is transfer or pay to my name at any Bill Express location, then just transfer it over to my business account. You understand me? It would also allow me to, because even the ATMs aren't a lot. So it would give me that option to really use that there online, where I can send it to the account and then just transfer it immediately without having to wait a day, or you understand, because it would be instant. Is there anything in the pipeline that will allow that?
Thank you for that question, Damari. Wow. At this present time, I could not answer that question. I would have to seek some guidance from the relevant departments.
Okay.
But that is certainly something that I will actually pass on. And I do understand what you're saying, not being able to service your account properly because of proximity. So it is something that I'm sure the bank is aware of and looking into. So I will surely pass on that observation.
Right. Yes, man. It would be really, really helpful. You understand? Persons can easily pay to it, and then the user can say, all right, let me just log on to my GK1 account, transfer it to my business account, and that's it.
Thank you for that, Damari.
Sure, thanks.
All right, so in the question and answer section, we have two questions. Persons are asking, investing with First Global. So that? Hello?
All right, so Jadian Ellis is asking about investing with First Global Bank. So I would assume she's asking the different options of investing with First Global Bank.
Okay, all right. So as a bank, we do offer accounts with higher yielding interest accounts, for example, or term deposits. that is one way that you can gain a higher interest on your account than, on your funds than you would actually gain if it was sitting on the checking or savings account. Now we have our capital markets, where now that is where you would go and do the real investment if you're interested in that type of market. But with the bank, our main tool would be our term deposit.
All right, so Craig McLaughlin is asking what's available for persons who have new businesses.
So for new businesses, and when he says new, how old is he saying? But new businesses, as I've said, we opening the account, depending on your needs, you can have a point of sale machine. You can have a business credit card. You can access the early financing, the early stage financing. Now, these products are all geared at new companies. So it all depends on what stage you are, and when we review your business, what is there for, what you're qualified for. But certainly the value-added products, the point of sale, business credit card, and our early stage financing. And let me just mention our e-commerce as well.
Okay, so Nadine Tolok, well, she said she just received, so she just came from FGB with a book-sized list of forms to open a bank account. So she's asking, she said they're sure many will agree that as MSMEs need an easier way to comply to the process required for opening an account. So with that, I think she's making a suggestion to make it easier for MSMEs to open a bank account.
The requirements to open the account, as I've stated earlier, they are the bare minimum. I mean, your company documents, which you should have. The only thing, and when you just open the account, like I've said, you will have a TCC automatically, or is it a tax compliance certificate? Okay? And that would be one of the biggest, the tax compliance certificate and the cash flow projection would be most probably the two things that you would not have readily. And if it reaches a stage where you have to do a financial statement. So I do understand, but there's some aspect of the process that have to do with compliance and BOJ and all that grand stuff that we, as a commercial bank, have no control or cannot change that fast.
All right, so Kerry Wallace is asking if FGB have the facility to allow Airbnb and similar overseas platform to transfer directly to local FGB accounts.
What was that question again?
All right, so they're asking, does FGB have the facility to allow Airbnb and similar overseas platforms to transfer directly to a local FGB account?
Well, if I am understanding properly, it would be more of from one, say, your website. No, our e-commerce platform would take care of that. So the client would pay online, and through the e-commerce platform, you'll be settled here. But the short answer, yes. Once the bank details are set up on the Airbnb platform, then but wire charges, yes, it is possible.
All right, so Olivine Thomas, she's following up on Diane's question regarding credit cards. So she's asking she's asking how you can pay off the bill each month so that you don't have to pay interest.
Well, it means then that whatever you use, whatever your outstanding balance is, you would pay that before the due date. And so that will take away that interest charge. As long as you pay out the entire balance before the due date, you wouldn't be faced with that interest charge.
All right, so Williams is asking, does FGB provide asset-based lending for real estate and maybe cars? Or lending, or asset-based lending for real estate and vehicles?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Okay. All right. All right, so there are a few lengthy questions here. All right, so Kellyanne responded to that question. All right, so Karine Thomas, she's asking, with the direct e-commerce, is payment facilitated in USD and JMD?
Is
Is payment facilitated in USD and JMD when
yes,
when doing direct e-commerce?
yes, it is. It is. So we'll set up both accounts, and the settlement will be done accordingly.
Okay. All right, so
Kellyanne, would you like to explain?
all right, Kellyanne, there was a very lengthy question.
It's not a question, Jonathan. I was supporting, I think it was Karine's question around some of the things that you can do to handle credit cards responsibly. So until we get that information on our website, just wanted to give you some live tips right here, right now.
Okay, awesome.
Because I didn't have access to the chat. So Karine, I hope that helps.
Oh, hold on.
I think it was Diane. No, it was Diane.
Yes. All right, so I don't know if they can see the Q&A chat. Hold on. All right, so you should be able to just move that over into the actual chat for those who would want to see it. So it's the credit, you said tips for credit card and so on.
Absolutely. I'll do that right now. Thanks.
All right, so I'm not seeing any more questions coming in. So at this time, we'll allow for maybe one or two more questions. If you have any questions for First Global Bank or BDCI, you may go ahead and ask that questions. You need like 10 seconds. All right, so that would be it for this segment of the webinar. Now, we do have another presentation, just a quick presentation on what the BDCI, the UCC Business Development and Consulting Institute does and what it offers. So this presentation will be done by Jonathan Grant. It'll be a very quick presentation, and you can continue asking questions as you go along. All right.
All right, good afternoon, guys. I hope you're hearing me clearly. Well, welcome to the UCC's Business Development and Consulting Institute, BDCI. So we're the green building located on campus, which is located at 17 Worthington Avenue. All right. Just move through it quick in the interest of time, right? But this is what will be shared in the quick presentation team about us and so forth. Right, so a few of our services include training and development services, Legal Bloom, which is the business registration and company registration, market research, consulting, advisory, value edge accounting systems, as well as mentorship. Right, so even though our team is small, we go by the whole basis of being little but taller. And we have the likes of me, Jonathan Grant, our manager, Mr. Neil Hussey, Nikolai Solman, who is a senior business development officer. Another junior development officer would be Miss Duana Marie Menzie. We had Miss Princess Gaynor, Miss Jan Pike, and Miss Kalius Phillips. Right. And we're really just a multifaceted business development office and members of the Jamaica Small Business Development Network, charged with assisting micro, small, and medium enterprises throughout Jamaica with helping them to develop. All right, so a few of the services, as we would say, would be webinars, workshops, mentorship, Legal Bloom, Valley Edge, and Growth Wheel. Now, on the basis of webinars, we would like to also share some information regarding or starting a business webinar that we have coming up. We have a few classes, and so, right, I'm sure Nikolai can share the information with you guys after. Right, but we host free webinars as well as paid workshops and mentorship. Right, we also offer advisory board meetings to speak with key players in the ecosystem, right? Consultancy registry, right? We have over 25 staff members on board as consultants, as well as 53 in total. Right. We also provide graphic and digital services such as logos, flyers, website, content creation, incubator and co-working center being developed in the St. Thomas Urban Development Center that's being developed now in St. Thomas, right? As well as partnering with the Founders Institute in Jamaica. Now, just a few of our partners, we've worked with many, many persons all across the island, as well as internationally, right? So we worked with the Founders Institute, SBDC, Jamaica Business Development, Private Sector of Jamaica, and DBJ, Development Bank of Jamaica, and various programs as well. Right, and we are actually one of the SBDCs for JBDC. Right, so through us, entrepreneurs would have access to professional and confidential business advising, a variety of quality training programs, and an extensive referral network at the Jamaica Small Business Development Center. Right, we are also a BSO for the PSOJ SME Resource Hub. Right, and it provides a comprehensive resource support and opportunities to the private sector office of Jamaica, SMEs, right? And it really aims to foster the growth and success of these small and medium enterprises by addressing their unique challenges and helping them to really grow through the business landscape. It is the business support organization chosen to provide these services. Right. We are also the Business Development Office, right, which was previously registered with DBJ, and many of the partnerships that we would have or been offering in tandem with them would be the business plans, business process improvement, financial statements, management consulting, market research, marketing and promotional plan mentorship, as well as registration of patents. We have also held multiple webinars before. Right, you're actually in one of our free webinars now. Right, and we use this to really optimize on distributing information, because we have realized that majority of the information, it's that many entrepreneurs wouldn't be interested, but mainly a lack of resources for many of them. So we try our best to introduce them to these resources, right? And it also builds credibility, not only for us as the BDCI, but also for the different businesses who sign up. We also offer back office support services. So if it is that you want assistance with learning how to manage your teams, some development courses for your team members, we also offer that. Value Edge now really speaks about our statutory compliance and government requirements when it comes down to businesses running their businesses with the accounting aspects, right? So we offer a accounting suite, right, of accounting and financial management solutions to help entrepreneurs achieve this goal. We also offer corporate secretary services, incorporation and registration, statutory records, company capital structure, other related services. While through the Legal Bloom, we offer registration of permits, registration of patents, TCC compliance, NCC compliance, Bank of Jamaica compliance for MFIs, contract writing, RFP writing, and other related services. Right, and just to go more in depth in the Legal Bloom, we provide advice on business, formalization process, the preparation of contracts and legal documents, the registration of businesses and incorporating businesses, the registration of charities, business renewals, annual returns, you name it. On the CyberRise aspect, that's more towards our IT programs, right? And we have a practical back office services providing graphics and digital solutions to clients. So whether it is that you want some automation for your business, you want a website to be developed, or some CRM, customer relation management systems to be created, we can assist as well. And one of our most used service would be the free consulting services that we offer, right? And through the consultancy registry, you can always just come in, speak with us, whether it is you want to come in for in person or online. We set the meeting, we have a meeting for about an hour, 1.5 hours, depending on the nature of your business, right? And we can truly learn about what it is that you do, your story, and where we can assist and help you to grow, right? And keep in mind that these consultations are completely free. We also offer growth wheel assessments to really help you to analyze the different aspects of your business, whether it is the business aspect that you need to, the business concept that you need to improve, right? The different customer relations, the operations, or the organizations. And through the growth wheel, we really assess which specific aspects are ratings for those aspects to see where exactly you need to pinpoint your focus. We also offer mentorship and coaching for entrepreneurs and their staff, right? Handholding services and group mentorship for startups throughout the UCC consultancy registry. So if it is that you're starting a new business, you're building a team, and perhaps you're not really sure how to go about certain things, you can always reach out to us and we'll be sure to guide you every step of the way. For those who would have subscribed to our monthly newsletters, you would see our newsletters coming out and you can learn about the different information, right? That will be shared in the newsletter. We usually have things centered around entrepreneurship. So it's good to be subscribed because you never know what gem will be dropping in the next edition. And we have our workshops as well. So as I would say, we have the workshops coming up, the Starting a Business 101 workshops coming up. And this is just a bit of information on it. So basics is that it's a practical online evening workshop between the hours of 6 to 8, because we know that many persons who are entrepreneurs are also holders of a 9 to 5, right? And they saw entrepreneurship as another way of creating some form of income, right? We have 4 bundles with 5 subjects each, depending on the type of courses that you want to do. The financial investment bundle, the investor preparedness bundle, marketing bundle, and the Amazon and eBay bundle. Now, the Amazon and eBay bundle would have unfortunately already passed. However, we do have it being repeated, right? So if it is that you're interested in learning how to sell and market things on Amazon, step by step with someone who is there guiding you, Mr. Barrington McIntosh, right? He is a very gifted individual and he will be sure to assist. We also have the Starting a Business workshops, which is more structured around the different aspects of the business. So if it is that you, for example, want to build a business plan for your business, you will sign up for the business plan writing, and through that course, we are guaranteeing that at the end of it, you will be better able to structure a business plan, right? All right, we also have alumni opportunities because we partner with the Founders Institute. And just a bit of information, the Founders Institute is the American Business Incubator, Entrepreneurship Training and Startup Launch Program that was founded in Palo Alto, California in 2009 in Silicon Valley, right? And it maintains over 180 cities and more than 65 nations. And if it is that you're interested, you can always contact us either by our website, www.bdci.co, or you can always send us an email, bdcimanager@ucc.edu.jm. I'll repeat, bdcimanager@ucc.edu.jm. Or if you want, you can visit us in person at 17 Worthington Avenue, Kingston, and that's right across from S Foods. Right. All right. I think someone was asking about the courses that we offer. So for those who are interested, we have the information here. What you could do is send your emails in the chat and we can reach out to you guys and send the email communication to you. We also have bundled costs, right? So one workshop would cost you $6,000 because the early bird would have already passed, right? And during the early bird period, of course, it would be discounted. We have 3 workshops going for $12,750. We have 5 workshops going for $20,000, 6 for $24,000, 9 workshops for $33,750, 12 workshops for $42,000, and all 15 workshops going for $48,750. All right. I am now at the end of the presentation. However, I will leave this information being shared on the screen. So if it is that you're interested, you can easily write down the email, send us an email, or you can just send your email in the chat right now, and we can send you this information via email alongside the necessary registration steps that you would need. All right, guys, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Tanil. Just encouraging all SMEs out there, persons on this platform, reach out to your respective branches or banks. If you have not already been assigned a business banker, I encourage you to make sure that you do, because that can guide your process. That can guide you. A lot of times, it's only when the SMEs are in need, see a need to grow, they come into the bank and then they're hearing that they need to do this and do that. So to save all of that, speak to your business banker, get the necessary education that you need so that you can actually grow your business and take advantage of the opportunities as they arise. Thank you, Tanil.
Thank you, Richard. Okay, guys, thank you for joining us, and we'll end here now.